And we have a 2004 Harley Davidson Road King Custom. Normally have classics. This one's a custom. It's got the Screaming Eagle intake. It's got them cool Vance and Hines turn down pipes. Of course, has the bags, spotlights. It's got them wild looking handlebars. Ugh. And let's take it for a spin. Now this is the carbureted version of this bike. So let's see how it runs. This is my first time riding it. And I'll tell you right now, the front brake is a little bit spongy. I like to have my brakes a little bit tighter. I don't like when they're anything close to touching my knuckles. Although some guys don't like brakes as much as I do. It's got good power. It's got 43, almost 44,000 miles on it, and it definitely runs good. I had it idling for maybe about 2 minutes before I fired up and jumped on the test drive. But so it wasn't idling right away. I had to have it on choke for a little bit. Like 2 minutes, which, you know, for a bike like this, that's not that big of a deal. It hasn't been ran in a little while, so sitting at my shop waiting for the title to come in. But it's a screamer. It definitely moves. Those need to be tightened. It definitely has a lot of power. A whole lot more than that 883 I was riding. I didn't think I would like these handlebars, but I kind of do. Guys, if you want to see all about this bike and the condition and stuff like that, check out my walk around video. This is my test drive video, and where I just drive it. I bang through the gears. I show you guys how it sounds. Show you guys how it rides. I let you know any observations that I have. Clutch feels good. Throttle feels good. Front brakes feel a little squishy. So that's something I would probably address if I were you, the buyer. Other than that, it's got plenty of power. I mean, it's got real good power. With the exhaust and the intake, I mean, this thing moves. That's definitely not an issue. It's a pretty comfortable riding bike. I've always liked the Road King. I've had a lot of Road King classics. It's always been a good seller for me. Now I'd say this one's a little bit on the edgy side. And if you want to check out why, just check out the description video. But this is my first time riding, and it definitely runs very well. I'm pretty impressed with how good it runs. Let's see if it idles yet. Yeah, it idles. No problem there. Let's bang through a couple gears. Definitely pulls nice. This bike definitely runs the way it should. I like the Road King, and I didn't always like it. You see, I get to choose what I like, not from looking at it, but from actually riding it. And there's been bikes that I was like, oh, that bike is ugly. I would never buy that bike. And then I ride it and I'm like, I love this bike. I love this bike. Case in point, Kawasaki Versus. Check out my Versus test drive video. It was so much fun. I loved it. But then the Road King, something about it. I was never drawn to the Road King, but I hopped on it one time and I always enjoy riding them. I like the fact that it's a bigger bike. It's got bags, you can store stuff on them. But when you're riding it, you feel like you're sitting on top of the bike, not inside a bunch of fairings and tour pack and stuff like that. It just feels a little more free. It feels like the kind of bike that you would take a road trip on. But not have all these, you know, the radio and stuff. It's just you and the bike. I'm not saying I don't like radios. I love hopping on a bike with a radio, but there's just something about it. Guys, a beautiful day out today. Beautiful day out. Thing sure feels nice and nimble for a Road King. It's got crash bars with highway pegs on it. Yeah, it's a pretty good ride. Pretty good riding bike. Guys, check out the walk around video of this thing. If you're interested in buying it, I sell a decent amount of bikes just through YouTube. It's my favorite way to sell a bike. But if you're interested in this bike, check out the walk around video. Well, you'll know more about this bike than you know about your spouse. Or yourself. Or your current bike. I'll show you everything. I'm not just trying to make these bikes look good. I want to make these bikes look like what they actually are. If that bike is perfect, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you it's perfect, and I'm going to try as hard as I possibly can to try to... I'm going to show you it's perfect too. I'll show you on the video, but then I'm going to try as hard as I can to find you some type of minute, irrelevant flaw on that bike. Because it drives me nuts to see someone selling a 2005 whatever and say, this thing's perfect. It's not. It's not perfect. It's not anyone's definition of perfect except for yours, because you're trying to sell it and you're trying to cover stuff up. This bike, it's an 04. Hey, we all know it's not. It's got almost 44,000 miles. We all know it's not perfect. We just want to know what's not perfect about it. Some things you can deal with, some things you don't want to deal with. And that's different for different people. Alright guys, So it took me driving it about a mile down the road before it actually idled. I'm sure if I let it warmed up with the choke on, it would have been fine. But alright guys, subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in this bike, check out the other one, the other test drive video. And see you guys later.